from the bottom. Ain't no problems, we gon' make a way. Got no coach on the field, but we making plays. Hey, look, don't worry, we gon' be okay. Hey, look, why? Cause we gon' make them pay.
What's the goddamn deal? It is your boy Marley Bet, and this is Brothas N Bets MLB show. When I'm talking MLB, y'all already know what it is. I got the homie Moose Money Bets. What's up, Moose?
Man, nothing much. Just kind of watching the Padres. I got nothing on the card today. As I'll kind of talk about repeatedly throughout the show today, it's really difficult betting games going into the All-Star break. I felt it a lot this year during NBA, and I kind of learned my lesson there. So I'm approaching these games very cautiously.
Gotcha. And of course, well, I'm not going to say of course, but new friend of the channel, new friend of the show. He's been here yesterday, enjoying the content, like the show we had yesterday. The homie Picks from Dave. What's going on, Dave? How you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm a degenerate, so I always have something I can bet on.
I'm right. Hey, we're in that same boat, my brother. I told this story to Moose a while back. I don't know if he remembers when we first started doing it. When COVID happened and like sports shut down, dude, I was betting on simulated Madden games. So
I do not condone
I'm
that.
a fucking degenerate gambler. I got all kind of issues when it comes to gambling. So yeah, I'm right there.
I feel like that's a line that may have been crossed. That may have been a line crossed.
I agree with you. I don't think I would do it again, but hey, man, we had no sports going on, and I was getting the itch. I tried to wait it out, for a little while, and hey.
Yeah, I remember they had the MLB, like the specific announcers to your city. They were calling games on MLB This Show. It was boring as hell, but we still all watched it because it was just like, I'll take it. So I know the feeling because I definitely watched my Padre announcers announce an MLB The Show game. I'm not gonna lie, I watched it a little bit, not all of it, but a little bit.
You don't need to lie. I bet on it, bro.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I was not gonna do that.
On a simulated game. I assume it was on all Madden. I assume nobody was cheating. But there was all kind of glitches and Madden shit fucking happening. If you ever played Madden, you understand what I'm talking about. So, but yeah, crazy. So, yeah, I'm a degenerate gambler as well, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I have a problem, but I know that I have a problem, so therefore I'm okay. At least that's how I make sense of it in my mind.
Yeah, EA, fix your games. Your games are trash.
I like it. All right, quick recap of yesterday. I sucked yesterday. Moose, you had an okay day. I mean, you won, record-wise. Dave, you were in the tank with me, man. We didn't fuck the Dodgers, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Let's just start with saying that. Like, I know they won and they gave me one of my wins right here, but just fuck the Dodgers, man. I don't know what's going on with them when they play the Cardinals, and like it's just shit play all over the fucking field. But that's where we stood at yesterday. We're right back at it. Going to be accountable. Wins or losses, we're here, goddammit. And this is what we're looking like overall. Don't look at Dave's record. His first day on the show, so it doesn't really count. Go to Dave's channel and check out his content. He gives great content. I'll continue to say that. Y'all, please go follow Dave. Anybody that's watching, at Picks from Dave on social media platforms, YouTube and Twitter. But now that that's out the way, let's jump into the reason we're here today. And let's start with, I'm not sure the order of these games, guys. So anybody want to tell me what's the, are they all 6 o'clock games?
Mm-hmm.
Or do we have anything starting like 5:30? I'm not sure. Hold on. Let me pull it up real quick before I pick which game to start, because I don't want to miss anything. Oh, it looks like they're all later games. 6 o'clock starts. Or later. Yeah, we're good. 6 o'clock starts or later. All right, so I can just kind of mix this shit up. Let's start with the Mariners and the Rangers. The Mariners, the run line is at +1.5, -190. Money line is at 108. The Rangers run line -1.5 is at +165, and the money line is at -118. We have a total of 8.5. Let's jump into some of these actual factual. Oh, excuse me, real quick. Let me tell you who's on the mound We got Marco Gonzalez for the Mariners, 5-9 with 3.24 ERA. And for the Rangers, the man himself for the Rangers, Mr. Martin Perez, 7-2, 2.72 ERA. A couple actual factuals really quick. Seattle, 10-0 straight up in the last 10 games, 9-2 straight up in the last 11 games, 10-1 straight up in the last 11 games on the road, 5-1 straight up in the last 6 games when playing on the road against Texas. Totals have gone under in 4 of the last 6 games against an opponent from the American League, under in 4 of the last 5 games against an opponent from the American League West, but over in 5 of their last 7. The Rangers, 4-2 straight up in their last 6, but 1-5 straight up in the last 6 at home against the Mariners, and their totals have gone over in 4 of the last 5 games against an opponent in the American League, over in 5 of the last 6 games, and they're 7-13 straight up in the last 20 games of the month of July. Let's start with Dave today. Dave, you got anything on this game or just a breakdown for us?
No, I definitely do. And when I was putting on my bets last night, I didn't have lines for this of what I wanted were team totals. But anyway, I've been betting both of these teams lately, particularly Texas and their totals and the runs and all sorts of offense that's happening at home. I've been on the right side. I've been on the wrong side. I took a stupid not stupid, but I took a race to runs bet instead of taking a team total the last time. They hit the team total, but they backdoored it. But all I know is, well, 2 things I know. One is Texas is giving up a lot of runs. They're creating a lot of runs, but they're giving up to the A's. One game they gave up 14 runs. And then the Mariners are the best team the past 2 weeks hitting left-handed pitching. Their OPS is over 1,100. And they're also their bullpen's the second best in stats. I mean, let me pull that up real quick. Past 2 weeks, 2.03 ERA, 1.06 WHIP, 200 OBA, 3.65 FIP, 3.37 xFIP. I mean, this team's just rolling in the right places. And when you look at these 2 starting pitchers, I mean, you probably lean a little bit towards Martin Perez, even though he's gotten tagged the past start or 2. So I have 2 bets in this game. One is the Mariners are so great at hitting left-handed pitching recently. I'm going with the team total over 4. It's at -112. That's my best bet in the game. And then I'm going to go with the Mariners money line full game for plus money. It is a streak, and streaks are meant to be broken and all of that. But I just think right now, too, to speak towards the All-Star break, there are teams that are looking to rest, and you can kind of sniff some of these things out. I think some of these teams that are just kind of fair to middling in the middle that have something to prove, like the Reds playing the Yankees and almost beating them, and the Cardinals playing the Dodgers as hard as they're playing. Some of these teams have things to play for in different ways, and I don't see the Mariners taking a break. That's for sure.
Ghetto Crypto. Appreciate that, my brother. Appreciate that. You got in the chat. Yes, sir. Hey, I agree with you. So my question to Moose would be, so I'm on the Mariners money line. I want to take a shot at the over 8.5. I haven't yet. Rangers produce a lot of offense, and like Dave said, the Mariners have been banging lefties. But when I go back and look at the Mariners totals, they're not a high necessarily scoring team. They're batting 234. They're slugging at 388. And I always kept in mind, since you told me, if the team's not slugging at least 400, it's really not, 400 is good. That's what you want to look for. And they're in the 380. So I'm kind of scared on that end. What do you think? What's your breakdown?
I mean, I like the Mariners. I do like the Mariners, but I'm very cautious on the Mariners, especially in this game here. I'd actually lean Rangers. I would probably be on the Rangers here in a normal spot. The reason being is the Mariners just had their win streak. It should have ended in San Diego, really, but because of really porous outfield play, there were at least 3 runs that were put up on the board that really shouldn't have been there. And when you go to the Washington, D.C. right after that, you're not going to be facing any legitimate pitching. So it's not inconceivable to say that this might be one of the better pitchers that they faced recently. You can argue Clevenger, you can argue Manaea, you can argue Josiah Gray, but I think Martin Perez is probably the best one out of those guys I've just listed. But still, Rangers' defense has been really bad. I would lean over, but Mariners' bullpen has been really good. And in fact, that's probably where I would say the best argument for a Mariners money line lies is in the bullpen that has just been absolutely locked down recently. They did give up some runs against the Nationals late, but that's more of kind of why I'm seeing some fishy ass shit going on. That Mariners bullpen had about a 1.89 ERA and then gave up some easy runs to the Nationals late. That's the kind of stuff that just makes you go, they may have been packing their bags a little bit on this one. And that can tend to happen when you're getting to the All-Star break. You know, the light at the end of the tunnel is right in front of you right now. So, I mean, I stayed off, but I would definitely say Mariners money line here. But the better play, I think, would be the over.
So you do lean toward the over?
Yeah, I would definitely lean towards the over, absolutely.
Okay. Well, I'm going to make that a part of my card. I was already on the money line, but I was loving the over. But Perez kind of scares me, and the Mariners bats, like I don't think they're the best personally. And like you said, they haven't faced. I mean, they're coming off a series against the Nationals, and there's no.
Well, and Ty France has recently returned, so the Mariners did get some offensive help, and the Rangers was just mashing. I mean, it's just kind of overs and Rangers go together. But you did hit those trends. AL West, I think in general, AL West games like divisional opponents, those games generally stay under. I mean, just for whatever reason, the AL West seems to play under. Kind of like how the AL East typically plays over. I feel like that's just kind of one of those things that you see get set up within each division based off of how each team plays each other.
Okay. I'm adding this Mariners over 2 seconds. And I think it dropped to 8.
So what was the team total, Dave? Did you check the team total for Rangers? I know you've been following that.
Yeah, so I did. Let me pull it up. Once the reason why I think I chose either team. I mean, it's probably both teams might even get the over, but the Mariners have been hitting left-handed pitching so well. And I was just looking at the Mariners overall the past 2 weeks. They're a little bit above average. So on the season, you're right. You're probably looking at season stats, but the last 2 weeks the Mariners have been hitting, and they have been playing crappy teams. That's for sure. Let me see what the team total is.
I got it right here really fast.
Yeah, go ahead. It's 3.5. Oh, wait a minute. That's the crappy odds. Let me go to the other one.
I'm getting 4.5.
Yeah, this is at minus 150. Yeah, screw that.
Yeah, I got under minus 140 over, and we're talking about the over, right?
Yeah, because that's kind of what I was looking at is like if I was going to probably hop on or some way, shape, or form. It would possibly be doing just individual team totals on both sides, but it would make sense to just go for the over.
Right.
But
over 4.5 is at plus 110 right now on my unofficial.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. There's the thing that kind of kept me off of everything is Seattle Mariners bullpen. Martin Perez as a starter. At both ends of the spectrum, you have a guy that could potentially prevent runs being scored. So that's kind of why I thought maybe an isolated situation where you look at the team total might be smarter. But if I was doing that, I also could see myself playing both, which would be kind of ridiculous. If you're playing both team totals, why not just take the over? Unless you're just going hard in the yard.
Yeah, so the Texas is 4-2 at minus 114 at FanDuel. And the over is 8. Yeah, if you're going to do both, well, the odds for the over is minus 118. So technically you if you're looking at just the odds, and you're going to split it half a unit each, you should bet both teams team totals because the juice is a couple cents less. But really, what's 4 cents, you know?
Yeah, well, and there you go. So that would probably be the angle I might actually go now that you said that the juice would point me that direction.
Yeah, it kind of makes more sense to take because then you got insurance if only one makes it. At least you split your bets. So
absolutely.
That might not
and the odds, and you're saving a couple cents if you split it. So.
Yeah. Might not be a bad idea. I actually like that.
But the dome is going to be closed, and that's something just to kind of throw out there. That takes away from runs, but still, I definitely would lean over here, not to the under. Even though I think you could argue under, but based off of how the Seattle's been hitting, based off of how Texas has been hitting, Texas has been kind of up and down on lefties, though. Not going to lie, they have been kind of up and down on lefties.
My bad. Money must have come on the under because it just went down to 8 in the midst of me putting the lines in to us talking about the game, because I just took it and I took it at 8, not 8.5. When I put the lines in, which was only 15 minutes before the show, it was at 8.5. So
I like that.
It adjusted and the juice went up. It went 8 to minus 118. So
okay, all right, cool. Let's keep it on moving here. Let's jump to the Red Sox and the Rays. I haven't really bet this series that much. I think I bet the first game. I think we were all on, or at least I know me and Moose definitely was.
Yeah, we tipped the Red Sox ladder play.
Right, and then other than that, I haven't been on this series, so I'm not exactly sure what I saw going on. But I do have a play for today. I saw something that I was interested in. So let's jump here. Red Sox, the run line plus 1.5 is at minus 200. The money line is at plus 111. The Rays run line minus 1.5 is at plus 170. The money line at minus 121. We're looking at a total of 70. If I'm not mistaken, the Rays are going for the sweep here. On the mound for the Red Sox, we got Cutter Crawford. He's 2-2 with a 4.50 ERA, and Drew Rasmussen 5-3 with a 3.11 ERA. A couple actual factuals really quick for the Red Sox. They're 2-7 straight up in the last 9, 0-5 straight up in the last 5 against the Rays, 1-5 straight up in the last 6 games coming on the road, 0-5 in the last 5 road games against Tampa. The totals have gone over in 5 of the last 7, over in 8 of the last 12 against an opponent from the American League, and over in 8 of the last 12 against an opponent from the American League East, more specifically. The Rays, they're 8-4 straight up in the last 12, 6-2 straight up in the last 8 at home, 5-0 straight up in the last 5 games at home against Boston, and their plays have gone under in 4 of the last 6 against an opponent from the American League East. 4 of the last 6 have went under against an opponent from the American League. 7 of the last 9 have went under against Boston, and 5 of the last 7 have went under for the Rays. Moose, give me a breakdown on the Red Sox and the Rays.
I mean, it's kind of funny. I literally just alluded to the fact that the AL East games typically go over, and you kind of see each division seems to be developing almost their own identity as a division. Some divisions don't score as many runs as others, which is just, you didn't really think there was that kind of dichotomy, and it seems to be developing here in the AL East. I would love to find out how many 7s are hung in the AL East matchups. I would also like to see how many of those 7s went over or under, as well as how many of those 7s were in games that involved the Tampa Bay Rays. Mm-hmm. So I don't think you see many 7s with Red Sox, Rays, Orioles, Rays, or Orioles, Red Sox. I don't think you see that kind of stuff typically.
Not at all.
So it does feel like the total is extremely low, especially for a couple of teams that have been hitting better recently. Red Sox especially, Rays more this series and a little bit in the Red series, but not as much. I do like Rasmussen. I think he's a pretty good young pitcher, kind of figuring some things out. I think the Rays have the pitching advantage, but you're seeing that in the price. The money line for the Rays is what, minus 121?
Yes. At least last I checked. Let me see if I get an updated line, if it's changed. I have Rays, where they at? Cardinals, Mets, Braves, Giants, Royals. Minus 118 on the money line right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not a bad price to pay for Rasmussen, who I think is a much better pitcher. But again, the Red Sox are just coming off of a really hot streak. But a lot of people did predict that coming off of a huge series against the Yankees, a big dramatic win against the Yankees, that there would be a letdown, a drop-off going to Tampa Bay, and maybe a potential look ahead to the All-Star break. And that's all the stuff I've been saying is you don't know what's kind of going on with some of these guys. Did they blow their load against the Yankees and just kind of, hey, we got a series against Tampa, let's just get through that and enjoy the break and kind of make our second half run if we make one? I don't see the Red Sox making a playoff run here. I don't think they have the depth with their pitchers. I don't think they really have the offensive consistency to do what they need to do. So I don't really see them being a team that I want to try to bet on here, but I wouldn't bank on them just going dormant and going into the All-Star break. So again, being very cautious here, I'd stay off, but if I was leaning on anything, it'd be an over.
Okay. All right. Lean over. Dave, anything on this one?
So I've had some betting interest in this series, specifically the last game with McClanahan, and I've been watching it. And first of all, I knew, and I think other people that know the Red Sox, the Red Sox were going to come down off of this streak. This Red Sox team seems like it was playing above expectation. I had them very low expectations for them on the year. And then the Rays at home, it's kind of like that's like the Bermuda Triangle. You don't know what's going to happen there. And it is, what's funny is you're talking about the Rays, also the Rays at home. It seems like they're just low scoring games. They're not exciting games. I lean the other way. I don't have an official play in this game. I mean, both starting pitchers are serviceable. Neither bullpen is great. The Rays bullpen's been a little worse. They haven't been scoring runs, or maybe I haven't noticed them scoring runs. The first game of this series 3 games ago was 10-5, but since then it's been 4-1 and 3-2. I would get 7.5, which is at -125, and bet the under. Knowing that 7 and 9 are the hot numbers, kind of like 3 and 7 are with football. If I had to bet this, which I'm not, I'd take 7.5 and take the under, knowing that it's probably going to be right on 7.
Okay. I want to bet the Rays, but I normally don't bet. Is this a 3-game? First of all, is this a 3-game or 4?
4-game.
Oh, okay. So fuck what I was going to say. I was going to say I normally don't bet the sweep. If I'm not mistaken, this is the 4th game. Yeah,
4th game.
I was correct in what I was saying.
I mean, the Rays.
I normally don't bet the sweep because it's hard to sweep a fucking team in baseball, right? It's kind of like my football philosophy in a division game the second time around. It's kind of hard to beat a team twice in the football. It's especially most of the time it happens in the division because you play your division opponent twice. So it happens in the division. I normally don't bet the sweep because it's hard to do in certain majority of the time. I kind of use that same rule in baseball, but I don't like what I've been seeing against ball. For some reason, what the Red Sox do in Tampa is just they're not good there. I don't know. I don't know if it's the heat, the humidity. They're an East Coast team. They're used to cold. They're not used to the heat. I don't know. Whatever the fuck it could be. But Moose, can you talk me off this money line at -118? Because I think I'm getting good odds.
Yeah, it's just Rays don't. I mean, look, which team has the way better offense?
Or should I do a first 5?
Well, if I was going to do it, I would probably do it. I don't know. I don't like the sides here. I really would be tough to take the Rays because it's just like Dave said. I mean, the Rays are the offensive team that you would have questions about scoring runs. It wouldn't be the Red Sox. The Red Sox can put up, they can cover the total on their own. It's 100% the Rays. But for whatever reason, within the division, it seems like they score more runs within the division than they do outside of it. But again, David also just alluded to the fact that the last games have gone under. I would definitely lean towards the over, but I agree. I would only want the 7. I would not be playing a 7.5. It would be more about scoring runs or at least the total than it would be the side. I prefer Rasmussen over. Is it Carter or is it Crawford? I forget.
Crawford.
Cutter
Crawford is his full name.
Crawford. Yeah. Okay. I definitely trust Rasmussen over him, but the offense it's just like there. It's like here's one philosophy on the side, and then the other side right there. It's just I can't do a bet like that where I have such a split in one direction and then the exact opposite split in a different direction.
Gotcha. So I'm getting a 7 on the total.
I'm looking at maybe a site you guys can't bet. I'm looking at DraftKings.
Yeah, I can't use
but maybe somebody watching can bet. So go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. This game to me is ugly. I mean, it's probably going to be a boring game to watch. These pitchers are good. Rasmussen is the better pitcher. The lines and the totals, everything is ugly. It's right where you don't want it to be. If this is at 8, it's an under all day long, and it's a good bet. If it's a 6.5, it's probably an over. I mean, it's just really ugly.
All right. Well, you guys talk me off of it. So.
Make your own decisions, but that's
yeah. Oh, of course. I mean, I don't. If I take something you guys talk me on or recommend, I mean, Moose knows this. I don't blame you guys, and if it's something,
let's put it this way:
and it hits, then at the end of the day, I have to press that button.
the best way to look at it here's what's going on with the Rays. They literally just got swept by the Reds, and now they're coming back trying to sweep the Red Sox.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right. Yeah,
that is a red flag.
I was gonna say, there you have it, right? That says everything I need to know.
Use your internal gauge. You know, if it's totally one way and then it flops all the way to the other side, you know, wait till it kind of settles back in the middle. It's too back and forth.
I got you. Yeah, I'm off of it. I trust you guys. I wasn't sure, but I'm off. But I don't do that all the time. Like, I wouldn't let Moose talk me off those Orioles
or the Astros.
No one can
right?
talk about the Astros. I'm not biased. They're just the best team in baseball.
It's just funny. You literally said the trend that you do, and it's like, but I don't fade against Otani, and then you're like, but I'm doing it tonight.
And Otani spanked my ass.
Right.
Not only did he spank my ass, he hit a what did he hit? Like
he hit a 2-run home run. He hit like a double. Like he went 2 for 3 or something like that too.
He smacked my ass all types of ways. It's all right. It happens. It was a non-biased, kind of biased play from a non-biased, kind of biased guy. If that makes sense to anybody, if that makes sense to anybody else out there. I knew what I wanted to do next. Yeah. Could be. Speaking of those Orioles, and let's talk about who they were playing at the time. Cubbies. Now the Cubs are taking on the Mets at the crib. Mets run line -1.5 is at +130. Money line is at -125. Cubs plus run line +1.5 is at -150. And the money line for the Cubs is at +115. We're looking at a total of 7.5. On the mound, Cookie, Carrasco, Carlos, that is, 9-4, 4.45 ERA. And Mr. Thompson is on the mound for the Cubs. Keegan, 7-3 with a 3.16 ERA. Couple of actual factual for both teams real quick. The Mets 3-8 straight up in the last 11 games against those Cubs, but 6-3 straight up in the last 9 games on the road, but 1-4 straight up in the last 5 games on the road against those Cubs. Totals have gone over in 4 of the last 5 games against an opponent from the National League Central Division. Let's talk about the Cubs really quick. 0-6 straight up in the last 6, 1-4 straight up in the last 5 games against an opponent from the National League. And their totals have gone under in 4 of the last 5 games against the Mets. Also under in 4 of the last 6 games against an opponent from the National League East Division. Dave, do you have a play on this game? Or if not, just give me a quick breakdown.
I'm trying to get there. I'm wondering, the Mets are money lines -125. That seems like a good price for the Mets versus the Cubs. That's why it kind of seems baity to me. Yeah. This also, the Cubs could be one of those teams, and the Mets could just feel like the Mets might be, just because they're at the top of the division, them and the Braves, top of the division, they might be kind of packing it in. And the Cubs might be one of those. I think a lot of the teams that have nothing to play for at this time really go elephant hunting and try to boost their stats and go balls out because they know guys might be packing it in. I was looking at the wind direction while you were talking, and I was wondering why that total was so low. And the wind's blowing in from center, which, you know, wind volatility. I mean, Wrigley's probably one of the most volatile places when it comes to wind direction. I'm not going to take an official play. I'm going to lean towards the under because of that. And if I had to pick a side, I might bet the Cubs. This line looks weird to me. And I said the other day, yesterday, I think the Cubs are my least bet team this year, probably. But just because of the line and where it's at and the team this is a grade A team versus a bottom of the barrel team, even though they're on the road. And then the total really speaks to me more. I think it's going to be an under. So that's my main lean.
Okay, so I lean under. I was going to listen to both you guys before I made a decision. I really want to take an underplay with both. I feel like we got 2 good pitchers. I feel like Cookie's good against everybody, but the Astros, we bang that ass up, Cookie. Just remember that. I was talking to Cookie. But I want to hear Moose's breakdown. I did bet the money line for the Mets. I said this when they were playing the Orioles. I just don't think the Cubs are a good baseball team. Or I'll take that back. I don't think they're playing good baseball right now, and I think they've been playing below average baseball. I don't like to say people are bad teams. Baseball for the season. Keegan, he's been lights out. That's why I kind of want to lead to the under in his last 5 games. I'm more of a what have you done for me lately. But even on the season, I mean, the guy has been unbelievable in my opinion. 7-3, 3.04 ERA. Some of those games he lost, he just didn't have a lot of run support, but he pitched good. So I want to lean under, Moose. I hope you can talk me into it. I'm already on the Mets money line, but Moose, you got a breakdown for me?
Did you say where the wind direction was going here? Because you got to know that when you're talking.
It's blowing straight in from center, about 6 or 7 miles an hour.
So I mean, it's not going to factor in much because if it's under 15 miles an hour, I don't really care about wind at all. Because it's 15 miles an hour is the barometer that you look at for any kind of
15 the mark,
wind influence.
Or do you know?
It's kind of where you start to see the ball get adjusted. If it's under 15, that ball is going to have enough force to be able to cut through whatever kind of light wind you're talking about. It's not going to slow it down all that much. It's when you get into the 15 and above 15 specifically that you're really looking at that ball flight start to change because it's just going to either make it deaden or it's going to keep it going and keep it elevated. So that's why it's 15 miles an hour is what I look at. Since that's not a factor here, I agree that the look is probably going to be towards the under. But honestly, I kind of think it might be a sneaky over. The only reason I say that, Carrasco on the road, the Mets versus right-handed pitching, those two things are kind of things that have played out throughout the season. And I don't know why it would be a time to go against it when there's a 7.5 on the board. The Cubs bullpen is atrocious. They have not been good recently. They've had they've had spurts of being good, but recently they have not been good at all. So to trust them for any kind of under would be extremely nerve-wracking. A first 5 under, maybe I could see that. A live over, that might be something I look for later. But I would lean towards a sneaky over. Because look at the records. It's literally flipped. The Cubs have the exact opposite record of the Mets, and you're hanging a minus 125 on the Mets.
Yeah,
that's
it's crazy. It feels like bait, but hey, I'm a big fish. I'm biting.
Here's some other things to think about while you guys were talking. So the Mets, and I look at the past 2 weeks, and then I go to a month. The Cubs are actually hitting better against right-handed pitching than the Mets the past 2 weeks. The Cubs are slightly above average, and the Mets are slightly below average. That's why this is real fishy to me. And someone's seeing something that I'm not seeing, because I'd look at this and say Mets all day. But the Mets aren't doing as well as the Mets were doing, and the Cubs are doing slightly better than the Cubs were doing. We've got a funky line, and
but the Cubs are like on a 6-game, 7-game losing streak.
That too. So that's why the only thing I'd touch in this game is the total. That's it.
Yeah, okay. Cubs first 5 could be extremely live because I think what the book is telling you is they're telling you Keegan Thompson's the better pitcher, and the Cubs might actually have a more efficient offense right now. That's kind of what the line is suggesting, because it should be, if you just line up these two teams, you line up these two pitchers. I mean, Dave, what do you think the line should be? I would think it would be in the 145, 150, 160.
I was going to say 150 or 160. That's what I'm thinking it should be.
Who has the better bullpen?
I was just looking at that right now. Past 2 weeks, the Mets are 3.02 ERA, 101. The Mets. Chicago isn't bad. 3.79, 144 WHIP. Yeah, they're actually a little below average. Yeah, the Mets have the better bullpen. So it's just that's actually even fishier to me.
So let me ask you guys this. I've already bet the money line, so it's already an official play. But listening to you guys sounds like if I'm watching this game and the Cubs jump out to an early lead, I probably should live bet the Mets.
I'm gonna do it. I'll do it. I'll do it with you.
Sounds like that's the better look for the game.
I agree.
Just listening to you guys.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, this is a live betting opportunity for sure.
It feels like a rare first 5 Cubs full game Mets money line. But if you're taking first 5 Cubs, Marley, we had this discussion a while ago about the Dodgers not too long ago because it was the same type of thing. We leaned first 5 the other side, but then you wanted to get that full game money line. And it's like, why not just take the money line? Because if you do lose that first 5, that minus 125 is not going to be around later. So if you think that the Mets do win, just take it now, because if they do jump out, you're not going to get a better price. But I think that you are right, that all of us are right here, that there is a potential here for a really nice Mets live bet if the Cubs do get out to any kind of lead.
Yep. All right. I already took it, so I'm going to give it out. But that's I think that's the better look for anybody that sees this or is watching this. But again, the fire you're playing with is like what Moose said. If we're wrong and the Mets do get an early lead, you're not getting a better line than minus 125. You can kiss that line goodbye. So, we're gamblers. So there's your gamble right there. Let's go here, man. This fucking series is pissing me off, guys. I'm not gonna fucking lie. But for some reason, I keep betting it. Cause I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I'm not even like a Dodger fan like that, nor am I a Cardinals fan. So I don't know why the fuck I keep betting this series. I guess because I keep hitting one bet and losing the other bet, and it's like, fuck, I don't know. But here we are again, Dodgers and Cardinals. Dodgers run line minus 1.5. It's at plus 105. The money line is at minus 150. Cardinals run line plus 1.5 is at minus 125. The money line is at plus 140. And we have a total of 9 on the mound. We have Tyler Anderson. He's 91, 3.15 ERA. And we got Dakota Hudson for the Cardinals on the mound, 6-5, 4.0 ERA. I don't even want to read the actual factuals because none of that shit matters in this series. And every time I read off all these fucking unders that I'm going to say, it hasn't been happening. So everything's just been reversed. Moose, give me a breakdown. Try to make some of this shit make sense if you can. And then we'll go from there.
Well, I'm trying to look at what line movement has been here because I thought I saw earlier that, so money is coming in on the Cardinals, correct?
Let me refresh. Let me get a refresh, and then I can give you an updated lines really quick. I got run line is at minus 125 for the Cardinals. Money line is at plus 134. We still have a total of 9. Yes, money's coming on the Cardinals. Dodgers run line has come down. It's at minus 144.
Yeah.
And
because when it opened, it was minus 145, went all the way up to minus 162, and then it's kind of slowly been climbing back down to minus 150, minus 148. So it is a little weird to see that, how the money has been coming in on this, but it is, man, dude, it's a Hudson fade. How many times have I talked about fading Dakota Hudson?
Yes.
I talk about fading him a lot, and I would do it again here. Big problem, Cardinals versus lefties. Tyler Anderson's a lefty. I know he's good, and he's been in situations like when he faced the Rockies up in Coors, and he was able to hold them down under 4 runs, I believe, which in Colorado, that's pretty impressive. So he's done it before. I would 100% be on the Dodgers here. This is a Dodger spot, but every game has been a Dodger spot in my opinion for the most part. So it seems like a tough series. Seems like one of those series where it's paying off to have that veteran catcher back there and Yadier Molina who's able to keep his pitchers focused. But that bullpen, both bullpens have been really struggling here. So I would probably lean under, but it's probably just going to go over again.
Yeah, I'm fuck that total. I've got it. All right, Dave, give me a breakdown.
All right, so this series is the perfect example of everything going the other way of what I'd call good capping. I mean, you have a team in the Cardinals that before this couldn't score runs, and they're jumping out to leads against the Dodgers, and then you have the Dodgers that struggle with the Cardinals at home have given the Dodgers over the years a hard time. Then you have the Dodgers rifling back to win both games from way down, and pushing the total over. These games to me were were Dodgers games, were unders, and they've been Cardinals games until the end and then overs. So I'm trying to find a way to bet it. You know what? I'm going to be stupid. I'm going with the under. This can't. I mean, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing with expecting a different result. But I think these last two games were entertaining, but were kind of an aberration. I think this game, if any game, this should be the game that the Dodgers go out and win. The Cardinals don't score that many runs. It stays under 9. It's like a 5-2 or a 6-2. So I'm going to take the under 9. That's what I'm going to do. And their bullpens haven't been that bad. They've been, I think I'm looking at ERA. They're like 14th and 15th the past 2 weeks. I mean, that's a departure from where they were because both of these bullpens on the season have been, a lot better than that. But I think things regress back to the way they should be. So the bullpen should be doing a little better. The bats shouldn't be doing what they're doing. The Cardinals shouldn't be getting out to big leads. But I could be completely wrong, and this could be 10-11.
I hope.
Yeah, it's such a surprising thing of what the Dodgers and the Cardinals bullpens have done. I mean, I think the Dodgers were the number 1 bullpen over the last 30 days or so, and the Cardinals were like number 4.
Yep.
And the Cardinals had like an 86% strand rate or something. It was just like, it was ungodly. And I'm looking right now, the Dodgers gave up a run in every single inning from the 5th inning on, except for the 8th. Or the Cardinals bullpen gave up a run in every single inning except for the 8th. The Dodgers gave up 1 run on Tuesday, and then you look at the game yesterday. It was the Dodgers again scored 7 runs off that bullpen, and the Dodgers bullpen, it was better, but it's still like, man, like the Cardinals bullpen was such a strength, and their offense was such a weakness, and it just flipped, like just completely flipped. So it's kind of one of those reasons that you go, what's going on here? Why is it that the offense is all of a sudden having a little bit of a surge here, and why is the bullpen starting to struggle? Maybe there's some things going on with the heat or any kind of issues with the break coming up. But again, that's just all that stuff that why I'm being very cautious here. I kind of agree that it would definitely be the under. I like the Cardinals to somewhat figure it out, but more than anything, I like the Dodgers here.
I couldn't jump on the under again. I know all the numbers say under, and I bet it the first 2 games. But I actually hope, Dave, I hope you're right. I hope you hit your under, and I hope that this is an aberration, and I hope things do regress back to the norm, because I took the Dodgers money line, right? But I kind of in listening to you guys talk, and even before that, I didn't think about it until after I made the bet, but I should have played it the same way that we just talked about the Mets, with the trend that's been going on in this game anyway. Cardinals go up big, take the Dodgers money line live. And that's probably what I should have done. That's what I'm going to look at, but I already jumped on the Dodgers money line just because that this shit has to reverse back to the norm. That's an aberration. And we have these numbers for a reason. It's because aberrations are aberrations. That's what they are. They're things that don't happen often. And so I expect Tyler Anderson to do what he does. He may give up 1 or 2 runs because he's not in, all out, just one of the top, pitchers on the staff. But he is a good, fairly decent pitcher. I think we got the advantage there. Hudson is a good quality pitcher. I think you don't think he's quality? I think he's quality.
No, I think he's below average. I think he's way overpitched his numbers. I mean, I can pull up his expected.
No. I'm not arguing that. You know way more baseball than I forgot about. So no, I fully. In actuality, I hope you're right, because like I said, I'm on the Dodgers money line anyway. So hopefully you're right. Hopefully Dave's right. Shit regresses back to the norm, and we get what we expect to get, what the numbers telling us. I had to stay away from that under just because I just couldn't fucking bet it again, man. I got burned on it twice, but I am on the Dodgers money line. But I think the better look, I don't know. It's kind of like the same way with the Mets. Like, if you want to take that risk of the Cardinals jumping out to an early lead and betting the Dodgers live, and seeing what line you'll probably get a better line. But if the Dodgers go up early, you kiss that 144. The line is changing. Kiss that goodbye.
Yeah, I think they do jump out early. That'd be my bet. I think Dodgers get the first run. I mean, obviously they're hitting first, so they're going to have an advantage, but that's not really saying much. Yeah, I mean, it might be a Yurfie. I could see that, but it would be more of a Dodgers score top of the first inning Yurfie, which would be way better odds.
Yeah. What's funny is
what? I never bet the Yurfies or the Nerfies. I need to start probably looking at that.
Let me tell you right now, Nerfies are popular, but they're the sucker bet. I'm telling you, the odds, you usually get better odds on the Yurfie, and they're usually, you look at good pitchers that are starting against teams that are hitting well, because usually those odds are better. Like, oh, Shane McClanahan's pitching, or Joe Musgrove's pitching, and then they're going up against the Rockies at home or something. That's the Yurfie spot. But they're such new bets that I haven't really developed a strategy for it yet. But I did want to say about the Dodgers getting out first. One thing is true, and I said this in the beginning to myself, I guess, in the beginning of the season. If the Cardinals jump out, betting the Dodgers live was good in this series, because the Dodgers, like the Yankees and other teams, they're built to come back. The Cardinals are not built to come back. So if you see the Dodgers jump out to a lead and you're on the Dodgers, your bet's going to be good. That's what I think.
All right. Okay. With that said,
what was your bet on this, Marley? It was Dodgers money line or run line?
Dodgers money line. Okay, yes, sir. Dodgers money line. I think they'll get it done today. Let's jump to we got 2 games left. Let's go here. Good pitching matchup in this one. We got the Brewers taking on the Giants. The run line for the Brewers -1.5 is at +165. Money line is at -105. Giants run line +1.5 is at -190. The money line for the Giants -105. We have a very, very low total of 6.5. And that is because we have a great pitching matchup here. The Brewers, we got Mr. Burns, not the one from The Simpsons, 7-4, 2.20 ERA. And we got Mr. Rodon, Carlos, for the Giants, 85 with a 2.70 ERA. Really, really quick actual factuals. The Brewers, 2-5 in the last 7, but 83 straight up in the last 11 on the road, 4-2 straight up in the last 6 when playing in San Francisco. Totals have gone under in 5 of the last 6 games, under in 5 of the last 7 against an opponent from the NL. And then the Giants, they're 4-1 straight up in their last 5, but 2-5 straight up in the last 7 at home, 1-4 straight up in the last 5 at home against those Brewers, and their totals have gone over in 5 of the last 7 when there is no favorite. Crazy kind of stat. Under in 5 of the last 6 against the Brewers, and under in 4 of the last 6 games. Dave, I'm gonna throw this one to you. Brewers at Giants. Got to play on this one.
I didn't, and I did a show before this too, and I was talking myself into a bet, and I do have one. But first, let me say this is the kind of game that is only entertaining in the playoffs. This is going to be a boring game. It's 2 great pitchers. It's 2 lines that are, the money lines are equal. You're showing equal. There's no real place to go. And then the total is extremely obvious where you should be going. So there's really no creativeness and fun. I mean, if you like pitching, I mean, this is a Moose game probably where he's going to sit and nerd out. But and I will too. But it's just going to be really boring. And I think the total is there for a reason. I was just looking at the Giants versus right-handed pitching past 2 weeks and the Brewers versus left-handed pitching. The Giants are absolutely awful, and the Brewers are hitting like 215. They're in the bottom third. I think the total's low for a reason. I'm taking the under.
I wanted to take it. I was gonna ask you guys a 6.5 too low, but I know with the pictures we got on the mound, like it's. I mean, like you said, it's obvious where they're telling us to go.
It's at 6 some places.
Oh shit! So I probably should jump on that right now. Go ahead, Moose. I'm gonna probably jump on this under right now while you're going. While you're talking.
Hold up. Let me go through some.
Okay.
Let me go up through a couple things because I'm actually looking up something really quickly here. I'm sorry, I just picked the wrong. I don't know why I fucking did that. But one of the things that I noticed is the Brewers are definitely having a much better success versus left-handed pitchers. And Rodon was having a little bit of a struggle going up into the game against the Padres, and he just absolutely shoved it. One of the things I might be curious about would be a Brewers team total over. Checking on the bullpen for the Giants, how they've been the last few weeks. But the Brewers, in terms of just hitting, oh crap, hold on 1 second. The Brewers' last 15, 20 games or so, 241 average, 450 slug, 780 OPS versus left-handed pitchers. And
I don't know where you're seeing that.
It would be the time slots from 6:20 to 7:14.
Yeah, I've just got you're going a little bit further back. 628. So they've regressed a little bit, but that you're right for that. 213, 678, and 96 WRC plus. So they've regressed a little bit since then, but yeah, you're on.
Yes, they have regressed a little bit since then, but still overall, I do like that the fact they're having some decent success against left-handed pitchers. The Giants bullpen the last few weeks or last month or so has got get out of your ads. I'm not buying that. Has got a 4.19 ERA, has gotten their 0.1 WAR, 3.88 FIP. So the Giants bullpen has not been all that good. I think a Brewers money line could be in order here. I also think a Brewers team total over, because I think you only need 3 runs. That's all you're going to need. I think it's a 2.5. So a Brewers team total over 2.5 could be super nice. And I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up getting 3 runs. They win this game like 3-1 or something. You end up under. But I wouldn't be shocked by a Brewers team total over. I think that might be one of the sneakier, better looks on this game.
I'm going to take the under. I just feel safest with. I got a good possibility that both of these guys can go 7-8 innings. At least I think 7 should be a good spot for both of these guys. Burns on the road ERA is like under 2. It's like 1.7 or something like that. And I think Rondon at home is like 2.8.
1.62 and OBA is 179. Yeah, Burns is a beast on the road.
Yeah,
so
Burns is very good.
I feel really good about just taking the under at 6.5. It's where the books is trying to tell us. I think they're throwing 6s out there just to scare us and try to kind of get us away from it. But I think if you tell me they need 7 runs against these 2 pitchers I'm going in, I'm not too worried about the bullpen, but I mean, because these guys are going to go fairly deep into the game. So I'm going to go on the under. I haven't bet it yet, but I'm going to bet it right now. Let me put these plays in. Dave, you're on that under as well, right?
I am. And you know what's funny is I when I looked at this game, and I guess to kind of dumb it down, all of my metrics for the Giants were bad, and all of my Brewers were a little bit below average. So if I had to take a side, I definitely, and I think this is a 2-1 game or a 3-2 game, I'd be betting the Brewers, but betting the Brewers has been a disaster this year. So I'm just staying off of their side completely.
Yeah, I haven't been on the Brewers too much. I actually haven't been on either one of these teams a whole lot this season on the side. I'm kind of scared of a side with both these pitchers. I feel a lot better with the under. Even with like I said, I think the books is throwing 6s out there mainly to scare us.
That's what they always do. Anytime there's a low-scoring game, the line is going to be as low as they could possibly make it.
But if you look at it, they're still minus 120 though, and the overs.
Yeah, they're not
plus
scared.
100. Yeah, they're not stupid though. But I think that's how you get a lot of those rookie bettors. I'll say that, and they see that line and without looking fairly deep into what's actually going on. Anyway, I don't want to try to sound like I'm know it all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of double checking because I wanted to go back and look at the numbers myself. And the Brewers versus lefties are definitely regressing. As I pull back every single week, I'm watching the weighted runs created go lower and lower. Yep. My span right now, just from the beginning of July, just in the month of July, they still hit for power. And that's one thing that they've been able to do. And I remember seeing that in the Twins game. If they've definitely hit for power, they've definitely been able to put the ball in the gap. The weather in San Francisco is going to be very bad for offenses. Very bad for offenses. Very cold tonight. Very cold tonight. Possible rain.
I'll take that.
Even more of a reason to take the under.
Yes, sir. I'll take that. All right, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. We got one more game left on the docket today, and we can get the hell up out of here. And we're going to be covering the best team in baseball. Obviously.
The Yankees?
Who?
I'm going to get this out of the way. I'm not a Yankees fan, so that was said very, very facetiously.
I thought we already talked about the Orioles game.
So what?
I thought we already talked about the Orioles game.
We did.
No, they don't play today. I don't think they played.
They didn't play today, did they? Because you know, I would have had those Orioles.
Oh, we talked about the Cubs, not the Orioles.
Yeah, I talked about the Cubs. The Orioles are not playing today, but you know, those are my guys. They just made this whole last series plus money. I'm telling you, man, like when they see the Orioles, you just automatically think, oh, the Orioles suck. So they're just Vegas is giving us that. They're giving us that. But all good things do come to an end, so we got to keep that in mind. But instead of talking about the Orioles, let's give these guys their just due, and we're talking about the best team in baseball, the Houston Astros. The run line for the Astros minus 1.5. It's minus 110. Money line is at minus 172. Angels run line is at plus 1.5. Minus 110. The money line for the Angels is at plus 162. We have a total of 8. And let's talk about who we got on the mound today. We got Mr. Valdez Framer, 84, 2.64 ERA, and Detmers, 2-3, 4.22 ERA. And a couple actual factuals about those Astros. 12-3 straight up in the last 15 games. 4-1 straight up in the last 5 games against the Angels. 5-2 straight up in the last 7 games on the road. 10-4 straight up in the last 14 games and playing on the road against those very Angels. And totals have gone over in 12 of their last 16 games this month of July. I said the bats are kind of starting to heat up a little bit. Angels 1-5 straight up in their 2-6 straight up in the last 7. 4-2 straight up in the last 6 games at home. 4-10 straight up in the last 14 games at home when playing against those Astros. Totals have gone over in 4 of the last 5 games, over in 6 of the last 9 games of the American League, over in 4 of the last 6 games against an opponent from the American League West Division. Moose, I know you don't have to play. Just give me a little breakdown of what you think is going on here when we're talking about the best team in baseball.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was this line really set at like minus 155 when it opened, minus 160 when it opened? Opened, yeah, yesterday. I'm seeing that it was minus 155 as late as 8:30.
Minus 150 is what I'm saying.
Yeah. What the fuck? Are you serious? Like how? Like what? Minus 150 versus the Angels. They don't have Trout or Ohtani pitching. Like who the hell set that line? That was a dumb line. So
summertime. They got the rookies coming in. The pros are on vacation, getting ready for football season.
I mean, that's a moronic line. I'm not sure if they're thinking that Reed Detmers. It is Detmers tonight, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're thinking Reed Detmers is the next coming of Tom Glavine or something, but he is not. the Astros are just going to just crush him. And if I would have checked last night and I would have saw that minus 150, I would have jumped on it. At minus 170, it's still not that unappealing, but I'm still not going to bet it at minus 170 when I could have got it at minus 155. Like, that's just too much. That's way too late. But this is an Astros spot. This is an Astros smash spot. Astros team total over. I don't care what you want to do, but this is all Astros. This is what I would have been on big time here. I would have found a way to take it in a multiple different ways. But I'm not going to do it just because I don't know what's going to happen here. The fact that it's opened at minus 150, who is telling the book something? What are they telling them? Like, is there something going on in that Angels clubhouse that gives them confidence today? Is there some statistic about the Astros off a loss? I don't know what it is, but that'd be super fishy about why I was minus 150 last night.
Dave, what you got for me?
Well, I'm trying to look what the team totals are, but yeah, this game is definitely an Astro spot. I hate
4.5 for the Astros. I'm sorry, I just switched my.
Yeah, what juice?
Well, I'm looking at the Angels under. I want to look at what the Angels total.
That's a good one too. That's a really good one.
Second. Go ahead, Dave. I got it. Give me one.
Yeah,
second.
look at the first half in the full game. But anyways, let's talk about Reed Detmers, a rookie that threw a no hitter and then was sent down to assignment to the minor leagues. That just kind of tells you how weird and volatile it is. He's a soft lefty against a team that can hit the crap out of the ball. He's like Jamie Moyer, but a lesser version. He's like Jamie Moyer light. It's definitely an Astro spot. Out of principle, I'm not taking a favorite money line at negative odds, even though it's only minus 110. I'm not doing it. My bet in this game, the trend that I'm going to keep riding, I haven't been off, I was on it last night, is finding the K prop for the pitcher pitching against the Angels. And it's actually not horrible. It's 7 Ks. Framber Valdez over 6.5 Ks at plus 104. He just had 13 K. And Framber Valdez isn't a guy that strikes out. He's not a 1K per inning kind of pitcher, but he just had 13 strikeouts versus the Angels last game. He's like a 6 or 7, high end 6 or 7 guy. You can even ladder this maybe even up to 10. That's my bet on this game.
I like it.
And I want to see the team totals. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, here's how hard I'd go on this game. I would go Astros team total over, Angels team total under, Astros first 5, Astros full game money line run line. That I would go, and the Valdez K props over. I'd go all those.
Okay, so the team total for the Astros is for the Angels, 3.5. The under is giving you minus 135. Over for the Astros, we got 4.5. It's minus 110. For the game, full game over, it's at 8 right now. It's still at 8.
That Angels number's telling you they think the Astros are going to win. 3.5 at minus 135, and the total's 8. They're telling you that's Astros run line. That's what that's telling me.
Yeah.
I can't take a run line for minus money.
I agree.
Yeah, but that's what it's telling you with those numbers. I think.
What about a team total of 8? A full game total of 8. But if Framer deals the way you think he might not get there, is what I'm worried about.
That's the thing. The Astros might be 5-0 or 5-1.
Right.
The Astros could go off, but I think the play is definitely the strikeouts, and the play is the Astros, and all the numbers are bad, and I'm not laying 2.5 runs either. So
should we look at a full game under 8?
No, because the Astros could put up 10 on their own.
That's the thing. I'm off the total completely. Gotcha. The Astros could put up 10 runs by themselves, or it could be 5-0, or I think the Astros win. I think if you're, I'm not the guy, but if you're a negative run line guy, or you're a big favorite money line odds minus 172, it's probably a parlay type bet. Throw it in a parlay.
Right. So I was thinking, I'm going to stay away from total ultimately, but then I was thinking maybe a Astros parlay. I was trying to find something I like to parlay it with. I was thinking maybe the Astros Mets parlay, or what do you think about an Astros Braves parlay?
That's probably good. The Braves are another team that's I'm not betting that game, but that's I mean, Anibal Sanchez, I mean, I'm 38. He's 30. I didn't even know he was still in the league. I don't think he's pitched in 2 years for the Nationals. But
So I think I'll do that. It's not that I have to bet the Astros. I'm not biased or anything.
90% of bets are coming in on Houston.
I mean, where else would he go? I've been saying that's how I attack the Angels as well. They're on my fade list. Unless Ohtani is pitching. Obviously, when Ohtani is pitching, they're bet on. I booked it yesterday. Not because I'm biased or anything. It's just because the Astros are the best team in baseball. No brainer. So yeah, I mean, I agree with the movement or the public money or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to do an Astros Braves parlay.
what are you getting for odds for the Braves?
Braves are 215 right now.
Okay,
And Astros are obviously. Oh wait, I think the Astros line actually changed.
Well, that shouldn't be a bad parlay. I mean, you'll end up with your plus money.
Yeah, one plus 130 at minus 215, minus 172. You're at almost 132.
So I'll take that. I like that. I think that's a good chance of smacking. I'm gonna put that.
I don't bet parlays, but that one's tempting.
Yeah, I just wish I would have checked last night.
I don't recommend them. Often.
I never give advice.
College
football Saturdays are parlay days. Not baseball. Baseball parlays are dangerous.
Yeah, I parlay everything. I normally have a segment called the $5 parlay where I throw out like a 4-team, or at least a 3-teamer or up. I'll bring it back to football season, but I do it every show I do. It's called $5 Come Up, and it's like a $5 parlay that you just put together. That you try to come up on. If that's like I call it like it's like a struggle parlay. If like you're down in your account, you only got $10, you don't want to make another deposit, then you do your $5 come up.
Yeah, there's a little window that I feel like 2-team parlays in MLB are kind of nice. It's in between that like 175, 180 window and that 220, 225, 230. Because once you start getting above that, you start getting into that window of like just weird shit's going to happen. And that's how Jose has been able to cash all those 300 money lines.
But, man, I've done, believe it or not, man, I'll have to post them one day. I'll post them. I'll never post them on Twitter, but I'll start posting my shit. I've hit, bro, like 8-teamers, 9-teamers.
Really? I'm not that lucky.
Bro, I'll post them and tag you. Like one day I flew back to Vegas like spring break one weekend because my mother-in-law still out there. So I did like a $10 8-teamer when I got on the plane. It was like hockey, college basketball, and I think NBA. Hit that hoe for like 500. Got off the plane, went and put another parlay in, a 7-teamer. Hit that hoe for like 500, like back to back. Bro, I hit them hoes a lot, but it's just a amount. I don't do it baseball season because it's hard to hit 8 baseball picks or 8 NFL picks. But, it's easier to do 2 NFL plays, 2 college football plays, and 2 NBA plays. That's not that bad. I can hit two of each sport. You know what I'm saying? So
I have a funny story about that. So I started – I've gambled all my life, but I started handicapping about 7 years ago. But a year or two before that, I went to a pizza joint, and they had a contest, and it was just – like not a suicide pool, but just betting money line who would win for the NFL 16 games. And I don't do parlay. I mean, I'll throw a 5 or 6 game parlay out there when I'm in Vegas, like at the sports book. But I was at this pizza place, it was right down the street. I picked 16 winners for the entire NFL Sunday. Nice. And then I went and looked at the odds. And if I would have bet $100, it was 20-something thousand. And since then, I don't think I've hit over a 3-team parlay in 8 years.
So I have a parlay saying 1 team too many.
Yeah.
I don't care how many you do. You can do a 2-teamer.
Yeah.
Still always 1 team too many.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I don't put a lot, dude. I mean, I do them every day, but like I say, I do $10 parlays, $5 parlays.
I did win a free pizza though. That was the.
Nice.
$30 pizza. Whoop de fucking
So,
do.
before we get out of here, that was the last game. I wanted to let everyone know, me and Big Boss from Who Bangin', I'm going to sub in for Coach. We're going to start probably Monday or one day next week. We're going to break down NCAA college football. We're going to do, well, we're not going to, I'm going to tell you exactly what we're going to do.
Yeah, what conference?
So what we're going to do with me and Big Boss is we're going to break it into two sections. We're going to do top 5 coaching changes throughout the season, throughout the conferences, all conferences, just top 5 coaching changes, period. And we're going to do top 5 coaching replacements. So teams that lost their coaches and have replaced them with the top 5 coaches that we believe that replaced. So he's going to give his top 5. Excuse me, that's not right. We're going to break down what we think are the top 5 in each of those categories. Then after that's done, Coach is sick. Get well, my brother. When Coach comes back, we're going to do top 5. I don't know if we're going to do top 5 or top teams, but we're going to do the top 5 or top 10 teams what we expect this season from each of the Power 5 conferences. We're probably going to do MAC because we love the MAC. Action Tuesday, that's kind of like my fucking thing. So we'll probably do the MAC as well. We might do Mountain West because I know we fuck with the Mountain West.
I got $20 that Big Boss has Notre Dame as the number 1 coaching replacement.
I probably have Notre Dame as the number 1 coaching replacement.
How do you feel about
my bet's on Big Boss, on DJ Big Boss, because I know he's a Notre Dame
dude,
fan.
Marcus Freeman is going to be. I mean, we saw how he did in the bowl game. I think he did a fucking great job.
Well, it's just those players love him, man. They just
and that's the number 1 thing, man. You're going to have guys, regardless of scheme and all that stuff. Before we get to the breakdown, these guys are going to play their fucking hearts out for that guy, and that's like the number 1 thing from a coach that you can ask for is the guys to buy in, and they've already bought in. So the first step is already won.
That is I couldn't stand Coach Kelly. Like, I just couldn't stand that fucking guy. Like,
let me ask you this, Marley, for you. If you're talking about the difference between the outgoing coach and the incoming coach,
mm-hmm.
How could you not have? And I went to USC, so I'm a homer. But how could you not have that as up in the top 5? Because the outgoing coach was garbage.
Oh, so we will have.
I don't want to spoiler alert, but
I was going to say, no, it's cool. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
We definitely will talk about Lincoln Riley at USC as top 5 coaching changes. I mean, I think that's one. It's not as. If you think it's a spoiler, you got to be.
It's the most obvious.
You're not really paying attention to college football. It's definitely one of the most obvious changes. So we're definitely going to talk about Lincoln Riley. I personally, just to give a quick analysis, I mean, I don't even have to necessarily break that down that much. I mean, just in what he's going to do in recruiting alone, because I personally think the problem with USC is you had a lot of guys leaving California, going to Alabama and going to Ohio State and going to all the other major conferences. We already know beyond Texas and Florida, California, that's kind of the top 3. I personally think, I could be wrong, anybody. This is an opinion people have. I know Big Ten country might be mad at me, but Texas, Florida, and California is like one of the main 3 producers of football and in NFL. So when you're losing what's the quarterback's name in Alabama? My mind's been blank right now. Bryce.
You're talking the guy from Oklahoma?
No. Excuse me. Ohio State's quarterback. Stroud.
CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud.
If I'm not mistaken, he's a California kid. And I believe Bryce Harper is a California kid as well. So you're talking about 5-star blue chippers that are choosing other schools outside of USC. Lincoln Riley is going to instant before he even, as soon as he signed the contract, those guys are going to decide to start staying home. So and that was their main thing, recruitment. So I mean, with what he's going to bring in and with the offense, he's going to air it out at USC. They're going to get the quarterbacks, and I think the move to the Big Ten is going to be huge.
There's a lot to talk about, and I'll say I can't even believe that. But you hit the nail on the head with California. Of the three big states, the hardest to pull, I mean, for all those years, for 30 years, the hardest to pull kids away from was California. Why wouldn't you want to go to UCLA?
Why would you want to leave the beach and the UC in Hollywood? Right.
But you have all these schools, especially in Southern California, in the Bay Area. They're all going to Oklahoma and Penn State and Notre Dame. And
I mean, think about that for a minute. You got kids leaving Southern California in Hollywood to go to
you can thank
Alabama. There's Tuscaloosa. There's
thanks Pete Carroll. Thank you, Pete Carroll, because he's the one that fucking did that, because they had all those sanctions that went up against USC after he fucking just bailed on the program because USC, didn't they have a scholarship loss, bowl eligibility loss?
I think it's USC. I agree with you, Moose, but I mean, at the end of the day, the sanctions have been up for a while. I mean, you still had what's Buddy's name? Sam Darnold. He did fairly okay for what he was with, but they weren't being punished then. They just didn't have it's USC. You got to have a big name coach out there. You can't go have fucking bullshit. I don't want to say bullshit. Let me take that back. I'm sorry. I get passionate about football. I'm going to start talking football here in a second. You can't have a no-name coach at fucking USC. Let's just start there. It's USC. They're one of the fucking top 5 prominent college programs in the NCAA. So when you topple that on, they're not performing, then that's when you get kids like Stroud, who's going to fucking Ohio. He's leaving across the goal. So think about that for a second. These kids are leaving California, liberal California, where they're much freer to do a lot of shit. The beach, the ladies, Hollywood. Think about if you're a star at USC. Think about Reggie Bush when those guys were like the man. They had Snoop and celebrities showing up on the sideline. Like, that's USC. These kids are going to Tuscaloosa. Don't get me wrong. Alabama is a great program, but there is absolutely nothing to do. And no offense to any of my Roll Tide fans. Straight football out there. There is absolutely nothing to do. And these kids are leaving the sunshine and fucking 70s weather to go to Alabama.
Two of the best high schools. Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, well, we need to. When football season comes around, we'll talk SC. I was blessed enough to go to school there during Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart and all of them. And actually, Matt Leinart went to Mater Dei. I went to Servite, so he was in our league. But I'll tell you right now, Matt Leinart in 2004 and Reggie Bush, they were it was Kobe Bryant. And then it was Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush.
Right.
And then, and so you're completely right, the Hollywood treatment. But what happened, just real quickly, those sanctions that we got because of that were almost equal to the sanctions that Penn State got for that guy that diddled those kids for 30 years.
Right.
So it was kind of an unfair deal. But SC kicked itself in the ass because instead of going out and hiring other, like Jack Del Rio was available to coach, all these people were available. They hired all of the Pete Carroll underlings. They hired Lane Kiffin. They hired Steve. They were in love with the Pete Carroll years, and they needed to separate themselves. So sanctions along with that, they lost the last decade of football. And now they're finally figuring out we need to go pay the dude. We need the dude to come in.
Gotta have a guy to get the recruit. You can't. One thing about college football is what you can't do is you can't let the guys in state leave out of state. That's why Texas is where Texas is, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm not gonna lie to you. I am super fucking biased when it comes to Texas and football. We are the number one state. When I tell you, you guys think I know we're known for high school football. Like that's we're so competitive in high school football. Fucking little league is fucking competitive out here. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to interview in the league that I am in for a coaching job, not a head coaching job, just to get on the staff to coach somewhere. They have to see who you are and what you're about. I'm sure most of that is for like molestation shit like that. But just think about that. You have to get interviewed. If you suck as a head coach in this little league, they will replace you. You cannot be out here and suck. But anyway, my point is, Texas kids are leaving. They're not going to UT. They're going to Alabama's and USC's and Ohio States and fucking Clemson's and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's the problem. You have to recruit in your state. You can't let your blue chippers fucking leave and go somewhere else, or you're going to be a bottom feeder.
I will bet anyone money, anyone. Figure out the odds. Maybe just a straight bet. that Arch Manning is not finishing his college career at Texas?
I think he will. I think he won't. I think he won't. I don't think he's going to elevate the program like they're going to hope, but I think he is going to elevate the program because I think if you're a receiver and you got one of the Mannings helping recruit, because I'm sure they're going to start helping recruit because he's still in high school. He has another year of high school. He's not coming in this year. So I'm sure some of those recruits are going to be like, hey, we got Arch Manning coming in. You know what kind of attention that's going to draw from the league? Mm-hmm. You know what we're going to do? We're going to throw the ball. Now, I do think that they don't have the right coach. Well, we got
Sark needs to go.
I don't think Stark's the right coach. Don't get me wrong. Stark is the defensive guy. He was from the Nick Saban tree, right? I think
he's from the Pete Carroll tree.
Oh, he's pre-Carroll tree. Okay, yes. But either way it goes. Stark is not the right guy. I'm kind of surprised that Arch Manning chose him. But if they get the right coach and open it up, I think they'll elevate. But because they're going to be in the Big 12 before he by the time they go to the SEC, he'll be gone. So he's not going to have to go up against the Alabama.
And that shows you too how good Nick Saban is. So both Lane Kiffin and Steve Sarkisian were offensive coordinators for Pete Carroll during the glory years. They both went to Alabama, enjoyed that, and they both branched off. Kiffin's kind of fizzled out, and Sark has fell flat in his face.
Well, I like Kiffin at Tennessee, not Tennessee.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
Or is it Ole Miss?
Ole Miss. He's been good at Ole Miss the last 2-3 years.
They would have been really good last year if Matt Corral didn't get fucking injured.
If Corral doesn't get hurt, they don't win the SEC, but they finished. I think they closed out the season well.
The book's out on him. We get Tennessee, the Raiders.
I love Tennessee this year.
No, I mean when Kiffin.
Oh, when he was at Tennessee, it went awful. Well, he left and went to USC like in the middle of the fucking.
And then he left the Raiders. The guy's kind of a snake, but whatever.
Yeah, he's not a good leader. I'll give you that. He's not a good. He's got a leader. Brilliant offensive mind. Though. He'll put up points. That's why I think he's going to work at Ole Miss. But back to UT got to find the right coach. And then so the thing about UT is what's going to help us is that not us because I'm not a UT fan like that, but I pull for anything Texas low key. But I'm not a UT fan. But the thing that's going to help UT is now they got the naming licenses. Texas got oil money. They're going to pay. That's what Nick Saban is bitching about. If you go back and listen to Nick Saban this whole offseason, all the little quotes about kids getting paid and all that shit, it boils down to Texas. They're coming into the SEC and they have fucking oil money and they're going to pay these kids. Rightfully, they should because they're providing fucking millions to these universities. That's my opinion. Agree or disagree. But they're going to pay for some of these top recruits in Texas to stay in Texas. And I think that's what Nick Saban is worried about. I think that's what a lot of league teams around the major conferences should be worried about because, people got money, but it's different from oil money and money. Oil money runs deep and Texas roots run deep. They're going to pay for these top recruits to stay home. Not saying Archie Manning got paid. He doesn't need the money, but along with him, he's definitely going to bring offensive talent to that offense. I don't believe Stark's the guy, though, but that's another conversation for another day. I love talking football, man. I can't wait till the fucking football season starts. Well, that wraps it. My bad. Go ahead.
I don't mean to go down to that rabbit hole too much, but you talk about why California and Texas and Florida, why a lot of those players are going elsewhere. NIL, that's a big reason why a lot of these schools are offering things to them. It's also the idea that you do not have to commit to where you go. You can go somewhere and then just transfer portal right back to where you want to be. I was going to mention a while ago, two of the best high schools in the country play in Southern California, Long Beach Poly and Mater Dei. I mean, those two schools are one of the best, it's like an ING academy. It's 5-star recruits all over. And I don't think more than like 10, 11 guys are going to stay in state. Like that's
it's crazy. You're right. Well, so Mater Dei was in our league in high school, the Catholic school league. And I'll name some people. Carson Palmer went to Santa Margarita, went to USC. Matt Leinart. Who was the blonde guy that went to USC that went to Mater Dei that started as a freshman? right when Pete Carroll left.
It's like Slovak or something like that. Or
No, it was right before him.
Before Slovak. I know who you're talking about.
That kid, he came from Mater Dei. They all wanted to go there, and then Long Beach Poly for years in the '90s. They all went to USC. The whole half the team was Long Beach Poly, Mater Dei, and now it's
quarterback is who you're talking about.
I have to look him up. But anyways, you hit the nail on the head, man. I mean, those they were like all those European soccer clubs that breed all those players for years. It's exactly what they were.
Yeah, I had a buddy. He's actually in my fantasy baseball league, and he was a punter for Long Beach Poly, and every teammate was going USC. Like every single teammate was going to USC. And like,
Matt Barkley.
What's that?
Matt Barkley.
That's it. Oh my god.
And Mark Sanchez went to Mission Viejo.
Yeah. There you go. There's another one.
Yeah, Reggie Bush went to school in San Diego. I mean, Lendell White went. I mean, everyone was Southern California. Now you couldn't name one guy probably went to Mater Dei on the.
Yeah, you know what's ironic? San Diego State, Fresno State. Those are all still getting California kids. Yeah. And those California kids are kind of balling out a little bit.
I mean, that's because you got, like, even here, that's because you got some of these kids are going to U of H. Some of them are going to A&M.
Yep.
When all of them used to go to Texas. And now even some are going to SMU, who's starting to come back up and a
Rice.
Right. So you got all, until they got the NIL, that'll help. Archie Manning to help. They gotta get. I don't believe in Stark. I think I don't want to say hopefully, but if they were smart, if he doesn't prove himself this year, I'd let Stark go.
Yeah. Well, my whole point was I don't think it's correct. What the system that it is right now, I don't think it's right because it's enticing too many players, too many students to leave and go somewhere else. And just as a student athlete, and I know that maybe the student part is getting forgotten a little bit, but it is really tough to pick up your entire curriculum and transfer all your credits and all the things that you need to graduate to a different school. I mean, it creates too many setbacks. It creates too many hurdles from the academic side. If they could figure something out so that you could compensate players, because I agree, Marley, I think players need to be compensated for the amount of time and energy that they're putting in, because student athletes do not get the benefits that every single player or every single student that's not an athlete thinks that they get. It is not that kind of system. Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's tougher. I was a student athlete for a while. I wasn't at a big time program. I was a little small, probably D3 school. It's still work, man. We're getting up early in the morning for practice before classes. Like, people don't understand that kind of shit. Traveling on the road on a bus, then having to come back, play a game and come back, especially where I was at. It wasn't like that. It wasn't a UT. We didn't have the facilities and the benefits that they had. But man, my main thing is not even all that. My main thing is they're generating like tens of hundreds of millions of dollars for these programs. Like, that's my main thing. Like, to give these kids a couple 100,000 or whatever it may be, when they're generating literally millions for the school. That go to all sorts of things for the school, other programs, other athletic departments. It's crazy. So we're talking about.
I'm on board with NIL, the transfer portal thing. I see the argument. That bugs me a little bit.
Yeah, I like it as far as because coaches leave and shit like that, but I don't like the way it's run. It needs to be structured a little bit better. It needs to be like you have to stay at least X amount of time, maybe. I don't know what the solution.
You get one transfer, it has to be,
or maybe even that. Yeah, you can't keep.
And it has to be in your first year, your second year, because this whole like this JT Daniels that did at SC, and I see the point, but after 3 years or something, when you're established,
you should be able to transfer.
It's just it messes everything up, and it's kind of like it. I know why they're doing it. They're looking at like KD, and where. Go wherever the championships are, play on the better teams, or go. But really, the transfer portal was meant for, I think, kids that got injured early and got jumped over, and now they're good enough to start, but the other guy is in place, so you can go find playing time elsewhere. But that's not what they're doing. They're chasing championships.
No, I kind of like that idea. Maybe like you can only use it once, and it has to be within the first 2 years.
Yeah, red shirt and then another year or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I like that. I like that. I think it still needs to be there, but I think it needs to be ran. It shouldn't just be open season. Because then
Yeah,
I think what you do have too, you got a lot of the smaller schools who lose their guys to go up after they shined for 2 years here, and it's like, oh, okay, well now Alabama wants me, so I can just leave and go to Alabama and like fuck all my teammates and everything that I started to. So I get it. I think it still needs to be there, but yeah, I kind of like that idea. Maybe you can only do it once, and it has to be within the first 2 years of your stay. If you're there for 3 years, you can't transfer your senior year out or something like that. I like that idea. That's not a bad idea.
Or if you started somewhere, like if you haven't started and you have the chance as a 5th-year senior or 4th-year senior to start somewhere else, I don't know. I don't like the way it is, and it's just because it kind of ruins it as a fan, I guess. But anyway,
no, I agree. I like it and I don't. There's things about it I like. There's things about it I don't. I think it needs to be changed. I don't think we need to get rid of it. I just think we need to tweak it. Like you said, I kind of like the idea you're going with the once you can use it once, and then after that you can't use it again. It has to be in the 2 years. I like that idea. I haven't thought about it that way. We are way over our hour mark, and that's what happens when you're talking fucking football.
Right.
I love it. So quick recap before we get up out of here. Moose hated the card today, so he just gave us a bunch of great breakdowns. Dave's picks. Let me know if I got anything wrong here, Dave. We're on. Oh shit. We are on Mariners team total over 4. Also the Mariners money line. Dodgers and Cards under 9. Brewers. I don't know why I'm going blank. Giants. Brewers Giants under 6.5. Yeah, boy. I hate when I do this, but it feels like I got a lot of plays, but maybe just a lot of words. Mariners money line. Mariners in Texas. I did take that teams that over 8. Mets money line. Oh, that's what happened. Okay, so I took the Dodgers money line, but I recommend that you look at the Dodgers money line live if they're down. That's probably the better option. That's what happened. I wrote a bunch of stuff in there. I am with Dave on the Brewers Giants under 6.5, and then I did an Astros Braves money line parlay. Dave gave us the odds on that. I think it was around plus 130. Probably changed by now, but that's what we called it at the time. Dave, plug anything you want to plug, my brother, and let the people know where they can find you at.
Picks from Dave on Twitter, Picks from Dave on YouTube, and my DMs are always open on Twitter. So if you guys want to talk sports, I'm there.
Yes, sir. Moose, if they don't know already, let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at Moose Money Bets. Just like Dave said, don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions, if you want to talk about anything, if there's something you're leaning towards, you want to push on or off, don't hesitate to reach out. You guys can also find me Tuesdays and Thursdays on Nightcap. Other different shows on Pub Sports might be appearing on Jimmy's show here very soon. So stay tuned for that.
Nice.
Yeah, looking forward to that. But more than anything, hit that like button, subscribe, drop a comment, drop a play if you haven't, if you're watching this on replay.
For sure. Appreciate that, man. I appreciate both of you guys dropping the baseball knowledge for me. Where would I be without you guys? Love how the show flows with the three of us on here. So hopefully we can keep that going. And as always, people, I am Marley Bet, and this is Brothas N Bets, and that down there, that homie down there, that's Picks from Dave. Y'all go follow him on YouTube and on Twitter, Mr. Picks from Dave. Over here, blow that out. Yeah.
Got it.
Mr. Moose, and I got it on the first try. Mr. Moose Money Bets. And like yesterday, like today, and like tomorrow, y'all already know what it is, man. Let's beat Vegas. And we out this motherfucker. God damn it.
Fucking stop it, bro. I can't keep doing this.
It's not doing it. It's not.
God damn it. I can't.
Why is it not doing it? I don't know why it's not doing it for real. Oh, you know what? I am tripping. That's why.
I'm just going to keep on going until you stop.
Keep doing it. There you go.
Check it out. Look, we from the bottom. Ain't no problems. We gonna make a way.